for watching. I hope you have a great, great, great day.
Today I have Miss ASMR Al, and she's a media trainer, a producer, and she's also the founder of Wise Al Media Group. Before we start, I would like to tell you Miss ASMR Al, thank you so much for coming on my show. It's a pleasure to have you here. Can you please introduce yourself?
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it. My name is the ASMR Owl, and I have a YouTube channel where I focus on sounds and a lot of different whispers and therapy to help people with relaxation and sleep.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. My first question for you is, how long have you been into ASMR?
So, I first discovered ASMR, I would say probably about, I would say 2 years ago. And my first artist that I'd ever watched was a lot of people's first, which is ASMR Darling. And she really helped me through a time where I was going through a lot of anxiety and a lot of panic attacks. And I also started discovering other artists like Karuna Satori. And through those artists, I myself, as a producer, felt that I also had an ability to reach people and I wanted to reach them through my own content and my own videos. So I went from 2 years of watching it and now about a year of actually doing my own videos.
Yes, ma'am. That's amazing. Um, my next question for you is, where are your videos? Where can your videos be found?
So I've been really trying to create a lot of different content for the platform. So mainly you'll watch a lot of my full length videos on my channel, the ASMR Owl. And on that channel, you'll also find live streams that I do, shorts, and I post a lot of different polls on my community tab. So I really like to be engaged with my audience on YouTube. But I also have Instagram, which is the ASMR Owl. And on that platform, you can also see a lot of short form videos, stories where I give shout outs to people. And also, it's really one of the best ways to communicate with me through DM. And now I just started my TikTok, the ASMR Owl, as well, to be posting, short form videos. So there's a lot of different places you can catch my content, but I think the best platform is the YouTube channel.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. My next question for you is, what type of content do you create?
So I think people really like the fact that with my ASMR, I don't just focus on sounds, like focusing on sounds and tapping and doing these kinds of things are really, really good because it helps people. But I've been focusing a lot more on personal attention. And those are forms of whether it's me reaching out and plucking some negative energy or focusing on fixing your hair and moving it from your face or doing little hand movements. I really like to create content that feels like you're connected to someone because I think that's why ASMR has become so popular is because it's a way of connecting with someone when you're not in the same room, but you still feel it. That's what the tingles are. That's what ASMR is. And so I feel like it's really just a great way to connect with people in a way that you can't always do it because even in a pandemic we can see that we have to social distance, and so with my content I want to do things that make people feel like you're there and that you can feel comforted and feel like you're not alone. So that's really a lot of my content. My most famous videos are where I eat your negative energy. A lot of people like when I don't know why, but apparently they like when I do that. So, um, eating eating videos, specifically fake eating videos where I'm eating negative energy, seems to be my most popular videos. So a lot of different content, but those are the main things that I focus on through my ASMR.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I think that's amazing. Um, before we had this conversation earlier, I didn't know ASMR was used for therapeutic reasons. I didn't know it helped. I didn't know it helped people with their anxiety and other challenges that they daily challenges that they have. I think that's awesome. When I first seen it, I thought it was just something that you play at night so you can't wake up your neighbors or your roommates or everything. But it's awesome. It's a whole lot. It's a way deeper meaning than that.
You know, I'm even reading a book right now called ASMR Tingles that was written by a doctor that created what's called the ASMR University. The ASMR University. And so what they're trying to do is actually do studies about ASMR, how people react to it with their brain function, and seeing if it is something that can actually be put into a study. Because as of right now, you know, people put disclaimers, including myself, we're not therapy professionals, but we know that there is not only through our community response, but even through our own experience, we see that it is a very powerful tool. And as you mentioned, you thought it was just something that people play. It's actually pretty cool because they have background ASMR where it's just like 2 hours of just soothing music for when you soothing sounds for when you study. So what's really interesting is that it's becoming sort of for some people not just a form of relaxation and sleep therapy, but it's also, and I use therapy a little bit loosely there, but it is also a way of just creating almost your own music because some people sometimes don't like the radio right now or they don't like a certain podcast. Well, this is another way that they can access content that's just a little bit different. So instead of playing soft music, you play soft, you know, ASMR sounds in the background. So it's kind of interesting.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. That's awesome. All right, so Miss ASMR Al, my next question for you is, what made you what made you want to also include personal videos instead of just sounds and tingles like everyone else?
I think I wanted to create a channel that I also felt like I could enjoy. And I felt like when it came to things like tapping and scratching sounds and those kind of things, that they were great. But it also felt like it wasn't dynamic enough for me as a, you know, I'm not very young, but I'm also not old. And I think that my experience is something that I can really bring to the table as far as wisdom or guidance or advice. I'm an older sister, I'm a wife, I have, you know, my own home. So a lot of my life experiences, I think, make me want to connect with people in that way. Um, and I also am a very talkative person. I've always been very much a speaker. And so, because of that, I feel like it makes it a little bit easier for me to do personal videos. It just feels like it comes naturally. And when you're doing content, you don't want anything to feel forced. You want something to feel like you're really doing it because you enjoy it, but also because it's benefiting other people. So for me, I felt like when I saw that that was the way people were connecting with me most, I felt like that's where I wanted to put most of my focus. So the main reason why is because I'm a talkative person, a communicative person, but also I felt like it was a better way for me personally to connect with others. And those were the type of videos that I felt were connecting with me the most, was when I actually felt like the artist was not just creating sounds, but connecting with me through whispers and through eye contact and a lot of things that we learn in communication. So I felt that it was really one of the things that inspired me the most to go more in that direction than just creating sounds.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Um, are ASMR interviews popular?
Well, ASMR videos are becoming very popular. I think for a really long time, some people felt almost embarrassed loving of it because it is a little unusual how some people can interpret it as, for lack of a better word, sometimes a little provocative. Um, but when you actually dig into it, you realize that this is content being watched by not just a few million, but like millions and millions of people. Some videos get upwards of 25 million plus views from people. I mean, my videos get tens of thousands of views. So, my point in saying that is that there is a huge popularity growth and it becoming more mainstream. And so I do feel like we're seeing more and more of that acceptance, and therefore ASMR is becoming more of a norm. But um, going back also to the like original question, I do think that ASMR interviews, because of live streams and because of the growth of the artists, we are seeing more of that mainstream crossover where we are seeing more interviews. Like this one, we're doing kind of like soft spoken, very relaxed. But when you go more into ASMR videos, I've seen people starting to do collab ASMR live streams. I've seen people doing collaborations with brands to do ASMR content. So there is definitely an avenue for ASMR interviews. There's ASMR podcast. I'm actually considering starting one myself once I get to a certain point with my subscribers. That's like the next thing I would like to venture into. Hopefully, maybe when I reach 10,000, I think I'll start my podcast. But yeah, I think that that's going to open up a whole other avenue of ASMR interviews. And not to give too much away, but I would eventually like to see, as a production person, as someone who coordinates and understands that, I'd love to be able to produce ASMR events in the future, like social distance events where you have sort of like a, think of it sort of like
When you
those
go to the art gallery,
silent discos, you know, the silent discos where you wear the headphones, but everyone's listening to the same music. So, like, imagine that, but with an ASMR artist on a stage doing sounds, and we're all there listening to those sounds resonate. And people could bring items that they want the artist to try, and things like that. So, I see that in the future for some reason. It's just without getting too ahead of myself. Like, I just feel like in the future, I could see ASMR really becoming to that mainstream where we not only see more interviews, but we see more podcasts, and we even see more ASMR driven events and sponsorships for people who are artists in that demographic.
yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. My next question for you, well, let's say ASMR Al, do you think there will ever be movies, ASMR movies one day?
What's so crazy is that you're saying this as we're literally getting ready to see the first ASMR artist do that. Now, so GB ASMR, a lot of people know her. So, a lot of the people listening right now are going to know exactly who I'm talking about. But GB ASMR has officially 3 million subscribers as of this month. And she had been getting a comment from one of her subscribers every video, every time this person commented that they wanted the B movie. You remember the B movie, right? That they wanted that done in ASMR. And she surprised everyone after this guy commenting video after video, year after year. She is now giving it to us. And she did the whole movie with ASMR artist guests as the voices. And they're doing the whole live stream this Saturday. And what's so crazy, I gotta be honest, it's pretty amazing, is she says that you should watch the B movie, the real one, side by side with the ASMR version so you could see what they did. But I really think that someone like GB is going to open up the doors to more ideas for artists like us to really venture in that direction. I really feel like for me, I listen to whispered Bible verses from certain artists. I've seen other artists create content that is specific to no talking. So when you think about that, there will be artists that maybe become people that do ASMR audiobooks, ASMR movies, as you're seeing, like maybe translated so that maybe little kids can listen to it, but as a whisper. or with sound effects being done through ASMR. So when they say the rain, you're creating fake rain sounds,
Man,
So there's cool things that I see in ASMR that are becoming more and more popular, and they're opening up those doors. So for anyone who is interested in seeing an ASMR film, I really think you should check out GB's version of the B movie coming out this weekend or whenever this comes out. I'll say you can go on her channel and check out when she did the B movie and really see how they did that in ASMR and really see how that might open up the doors for other artists. But I can see myself and other people collabing to do those things in the future because people are already doing it as we speak.
yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. That's awesome. I never knew. That's so cool. I can't. And you said
Right?
this Saturday. It's going to be on her page.
Yeah, yeah.
Man, I'm so excited. I
And it's
really.
and it's GB ASMR. And yeah, it's incredible. She when she did that for her fan who had been dedicated to watching all her videos and do all that, people were mind blown the day that she announced it. People couldn't believe it. She really had been listening to her subscribers. She's really giving back, and it's taken her almost a month and a half to put it together. So this is her investment back to her craft in order to give us better content. And that's why I do ASMR too. It's to help others, and really any money that I make from my channel goes to buying better gear, buying more tingle tools, buying more research so I can do better videos. That's what you want to do, and that's what artists like GB who have surpassed millions are doing. So we can only take that as a lesson to inspire us to do better content.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. What is? Can you explain? What is Wise Owl Media Group?
Yeah, so about 7 years ago, I was working for a like mainstream production company, and I found myself, though I was making some great content, speaking to some of the most amazing artists on the planet, literally meeting some of my heroes. I realized that I wanted to give back to others in a different way because when you're working for media in a more corporate facet, you don't really have a choice on what is shown and what isn't shown. There's a lot of cooks in the kitchen. And I wanted to have a little bit more storytelling behind my videos and give opportunity to not only businesses, but influencers to create content that could, create a career for them to help them get sponsorships, monetize. And the only way I could do that was if I wasn't working a 60-hour, job, 60-hour week job. So I quit and started my own business called Wise Owl Media Group to help younger and newer content creators produce and create their own content. And I myself, I'm an editor, I'm a producer. So it's what I've wanted to do my whole life. So starting my own business to do that really was just another stepping stone in some of my dreams and goals. Now, why the owl? Why Wise Owl Media Group? I really like to choose symbolism behind a lot of the things that I do. And the owl is really a representation of wisdom, but also a representation of an animal that really thinks before it acts. It does everything out of survival. And it's a divine animal that you know, really focuses on creating survival for itself. Like it doesn't do anything out of harm. It doesn't do anything to spite anything. It's just really a survival instinct for this animal. And so for me, it's always been something I've wanted to be represented in everything I do, including ASMR Owl and my business. I even have an owl tattoo. I am all about owls, and it's really because owls are a guide for me to remember that it's important to not only do things to help others, doing it out of wanting to do it, and never doing things out of misdirection. Like I mentioned, they're observers, they're sharp, they know exactly what they want and they go for it in order to survive. And that's what I wanted to represent in my life. I wanted to be a go getter. I wanted someone who used wisdom as guidance and grew too, because you have to be able to grow, and wisdom only comes through growth. And I feel like that animal represents those aspects, and it's also an animal that represents all other aspects of mystery and magic. And we see it in Harry Potter, we see it in so many different things in our lives. So it is an animal that people really respect and see it as an animal of guidance and wisdom. So for me, I felt that it was also a very universal symbol for that. And so I wanted to represent that in everything I do. I mean, I have dozens, probably even more, owls all over my house. They're like my protector. It's my spirit animal. And so that's why Wise Owl Media Group, it really was a way not only to help others, but to find a way to do things out of purpose. So that's why I do everything I do.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. That's awesome. My next question for you is, um, you, what type of content does Wise Owl Media Group produce?
So we focus mainly on commercial work, and I would say a lot of social media content. We work a lot with organizations and individuals to really create a variety of content, everything from music videos to business reels that detail interviews and details about a business. We've done commercials for teeth like companies, for fashion lines, for even shake and food companies. So we've done a variety of different content. The thing for us that makes us unique, I think what makes Wise Owl Media Group unique, is that we're a very self contained group of professionals, meaning that we can do everything from small projects to very large scale projects, because we know how to work with a variety of different budgets and scale of vision too. Because when we work with these artists, we want to make their vision become a reality. And we can't really do that if we're focusing just on the money aspect. So I really like to create an atmosphere where people can feel creative and then at the same time bring their vision to life with a balance. And so with Wise Owl Media Group, we really can create a lot of different content. We've even had award-winning short films, and we're currently working on a new documentary. So we really are a variety of things. But I think, like I said, what makes us unique is that close attention, intimate connection that we have with our clients, because we're not just a large scale production team. We can be two people, even myself, doing a variety of different things. I can film, I can do audio, I can edit. So all my team really is that kind of person too, that can do a variety of different things. And so we like to create content for everyone. We've done a lot of different things. So it really just depends on what your vision is, and we try and make it happen.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Where can Wise Owl Media Group be found?
So you can find everything for Wise Owl Media Group, basically wiseowlmediagroup.com. And if you go to you could also go to wiseowlmediagroup.com on YouTube to check some of our main like videos, where we've had everything from tutorials for equipment to even some food content that we create with some of our producers. So we have a variety of different things on there. So you can go on our YouTube channel, or you can go to Instagram, um, or Facebook, Wise Owl MG. So M as in Mary, G as in good. So you can check those out as well. That's where we'll post updates. We'll post some of our mini clips. But you can see videos probably like a few times a month. We don't post as much as we would want to on the platform, but it's because we're really busy working with other companies. But at the same time, that's a blessing. So when we do post, you'll find it there.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. May I ask what's your ethnicity?
What was that?
May I ask what is your ethnicity?
Yeah, so my family is first generation Guatemalan American here in the United States, and specifically Los Angeles. But my culture is Guatemalan Spanish. My family is rooted with some of the indigenous cultures of Guatemala, but we also have some roots to Spanish descendants that came somewhere in like the early 1800s to Guatemala. So we have a little bit of Spanish, a little bit of Guatemalan blood.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Can you send, well, okay, in ASMR, can you send a positive message in your native language to the Latin community?
Definitely. Bueno, les quiero decir a todos, si hoy están teniendo un día difícil, un día poco oscuro, quiero que sepan que no están solos, no estás solo, no estás sola, no están solos, no están solas. Ustedes son únicos, son bellos, bellas, y ustedes los necesitamos. Nunca están solos y siempre sepan que pueden ir a mi canal para hablar. Gracias. So I was just basically saying that we're
It's
not alone.
okay. You don't even have to translate if you
No,
don't want to. It
no,
is.
I was gonna say, yeah, no, what I said was that to know that you're not alone. If you're having a bad day today or your day seemed a little dark, just know that you're not alone, that you're unique and that you're needed. And that if you need any help or to talk, that you can go to my page and comment to have a conversation.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. That's awesome. That's amazing. My next question for you is, what is your zodiac sign?
Mm. So I am a Leo, a lion. That's been. I mean, I'm like pretty much a deep Leo. I kind of fit every category of a Leo. Very outgoing, but also very feisty. So I would say that um, I get along very well with a lot of other Leos too. A lot of Leo friends.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. And your birthday is in August. Is that
End of July. End of July.
the end of July? Okay, so my birthday is July 22nd, and I miss Leo by one day, but I am a Cancer
You're a
to
Cancer.
the fullest. No
Oh.
Leo trace at all. That's awesome though. A lot of my friends are Leos, and they pick on me a lot, but I don't mind it at all because I'm a Cancer. It's okay.
Yeah, if you were a Leo, you would definitely mind that. So,
Yes, man. What is your favorite color?
you know, it kind of changes, but I think my favorite color is green because it symbolizes growth. It symbolizes green energy in the sense of like forest and nature. And we all know how important that is. And I think something else that people might not agree with, but also green is the color of money. So I love that. But yeah, I think green for me is just one of those colors that's always around me in nature or in life. So I think that's why my logo for my company has green in it because of that.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. What is your favorite number?
It's a bit random, but my favorite number is 72. And the reason that is actually kind of ridiculous. But now it is what it is. But when I was younger, it was all about the boy bands. And there was this one boy band named Five. And Five had this one member. that was named Abs Breen, and he wore all the time these jerseys that had 72 on them. I don't remember what player it was. I don't remember anything except that I was obsessed with him. And this is like the mind of a 12-year-old, right? And so, um, for some odd reason, that number just stuck in my head, and I started using it for everything. And now, 20 plus years later, I'm still using the number. So 72 is my favorite number.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I wish I knew what player that was, but I do not know number 72. But it's okay.
They were a British band, so I don't even know if maybe it was a British team or something. I don't even know at this point, but he looked good.
Okay. That's all that matter. What are your five favorite foods?
Okay, so I think number one is French fries. I think second is ice cream, but specifically Haagen-Dazs. Haagen-Dazs strawberry ice cream. You give me a pint of that and I will take it down like no one's business. I think third is bacon. Anything like bacon can go on anything, literally. Bacon for sure. And then I think in there has to be my almost everything Guatemalan cooking, but I would say hilachas is fourth. It's like a shredded beef like deep stew made with potatoes and rice, and it's phenomenal from Guatemala. And I would say that my fifth one is also another dish from Guatemala that my mom makes, which is an arroz con pollo, but it's specifically one that I would call orange chicken when I was younger because the color of it is orange. So yeah, I think that that would be it. French fries, strawberry ice cream, bacon, and two of those Guatemalan meals. In and out would be in there too, but I can't isolate just In and Out because I think that the French fries and the bacon would still take the cake.
Absolutely. Absolutely. If you could visit five countries, where would they be?
Mm. My number one is Israel. I want to go to Jerusalem so bad. I've wanted to since I was in fourth grade. Greece. Greece would be awesome just because of Athens and all the rooted history and Greek mythology and all that. I love all that. Um, I mm,
Take your time.
I think Peru is up there as well. I've been to South America before, but I've never been to Peru. And I would love to see Machu Picchu and to try Lomo Saltado out there and do that. I've been to Colombia, but I would love to go back to Colombia because I only went to one part, and it's supposed to be very diverse in like landforms. Like you have the beach coastline that has a very different root of people. Then you go more into the city where I was in, Bogota, which is a lot different. So I really feel like I would love to go back again, to South America, but specifically to Colombia and to Peru. And I think the fifth one, hmm, I want to, and I've traveled a lot, so I've hit some of my bucket list, but I would say that maybe the last one would be, oh wow, that's a big one. Um, I want to say, for some odd reason, what's coming to mind is France. I don't know if that really is my fifth, but I do think that going back to Europe in some way or form would be awesome. But I haven't gone to France. So I think that would maybe be one, and trying the French cuisine and going and trying the macaroons and going to the Eiffel Tower. And also just in general, the other sides of France, in the hills where you can go and try the wines and stuff. So I think France might be up there for sure.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Would you rather go into a okay? So you said Machu Picchu. Can you say what that is? Cause I don't know. I've heard of it a lot on TV, but I've
Yeah.
never.
Well, if I'm not mistaken, I think it is one of the wonders of the world, Machu Picchu.
Okay, is
But
that?
it's well, so it's in it's an area where the Incas, the ancient culture of the Incas used to reside in their civilization. And so Machu Picchu is a now park where you can go and see some of the ruins that are high up in these elevated mountains of what is called Machu Picchu. And so it is the ruins of the Incas based in Peru. But then they also have other amazing things in Peru, including things like the Rainbow Mountains. They also have the salt flats that they have there, where they produce a lot of salt, and they have mountains of them where you can go visit all these salt flats. And they even have the Nazca lines, which is one of the most mysterious things about Peru, which is basically a lot of people will take a helicopter to see them, but it's geographical lines that have been shaped to make various, I would say, for lack of a better word, hieroglyphs that the Incas created, and no one understands how were they able to create that, not being able to be like see the sky. You can't. There were no planes back then. We don't know, right? And so that's what they don't understand is how were they able to create these shapes, perfect these Nazca lines that represent these figures without being able to see it. From an elevated position. So Nazca and just Peru, Machu Picchu, all of the country itself is very mysterious due to its centuries and centuries and centuries of history. So that's what I really am always interested in. I've visited ruins in Tikal, Guatemala, Tikal. I visited, which is technically in Petén, Guatemala. I've also visited what's it called? Some of the ones in Cancun in Mexico, um, and I forgot the names. For some odd reason, it's escaped me, but just Chetelul and some of those other places. But there's one specific there in Cancun. But yeah, I visited ruins for a long time. But the only culture I haven't had a chance to really look at that I wanted to have been the Egyptians and the Incas. You know what? That takes over France. Egypt would be my fifth one. Just going backwards. That was the one I was trying. I was like, there was something I'm missing. Those pyramids are so mysterious. So yeah, anything when it comes to like long-standing history, I'm really interested in. So that's what's so interesting about Peru. There's a lot of mystery, and a lot of just majestic things that go on over there.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Would you rather go into space or deep sea diving?
I think space, even though it's definitely scarier in some degrees, we haven't even really discovered much about the ocean. And when you really think about it, the deeper that we go, they're finding very unusual species and animals and things that we've never seen before. So it's kind of scary because I always think about things like the what is it, the Loch Ness monster, and I'm like, is that stuff really real? Like I wouldn't put it past. I don't know, the ocean is scary. It's scary. So for me, I feel like space is a little bit more like you know what you're getting into. It's like you're going into this place with no gravity, no oxygen. It's going to be a bunch of just black space, because you can't just see a star like right then and there. They're far away. So it's very interesting because I feel like we know almost more about our little solar system at times than we know about our oceans. And plus, the idea of maybe going into like a Shark Tank kind of thing is one of those that would be my bucket list fear items. Like, this is to get over a fear. I love the ocean. I've swam in the ocean, snorkeled, and I love it, but it can be scary. I just think that if you've ever watched open water, you never want to be stuck in that situation. So I would say space, even though I'm probably wrong. Space.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. What would you like to see in space?
I think I think going to the being being able to be like that first group that goes to Mars would be actually kind of crazy. But I would really love to see the Earth from the outside perspective. That's actually like the number one. If I was there, the first thing I would want to do is turn around and look at the Earth, and not only so I can tell all those flat earthers that the Earth is round, but just in general, I just think that when I went skydiving, that was the highest I've ever been in the sky beyond an airplane, but what you could really see, like you can really see everything around you. And it's so fantastic that I can only imagine what it looks like from space. It just must be so unreal, like almost look like it's fake, And so I feel like that would be the first thing I would want to see in space is turn around and look at the Earth.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. What are your five favorite animals?
So
Owl.
owl, a, a dog. I have two dogs. So dogs are very, I mean, I'm obsessed with dogs. So I would say dogs. Um, wow, five favorite ones. I wonder if I've ever, okay, so elephants are up there. I think that we don't take care of some of the most endangered animals, and that includes elephants. I hope that our kids and our grandkids will be able to see those animals in the future. So I think elephants, they're just so beautiful. Um, I think a bear, but specifically black bears. Um, they're just, first of all, in California, they're everywhere, but they've actually been killing them. So we're making initiatives to stop that in California, which is good, because black bears are, oh my God, they're just so beautiful and they're so important for our ecosystem. And they're just, you want to hug them, you can't, but they're still so cute. So I love them. And I would say that my fifth is a really random, but I would say that the first thing that came to my mind was a crow. I've always liked birds, but I got to do a report on a crow when I was in like fifth grade. And it was pretty amazing how they run in packs and how they are a lot bigger than you would imagine as far as wingspan. And they're also scary and creepy, and but like in a beautiful way. And sort of like vultures, where it's like they're just weird looking, but they're beautiful at the same time. And I feel like crows also remind me of my brother because he was so obsessed with The Crow when we were younger. The movie The Crow. I don't know if you've ever watched it, but it's got Bruce Lee's son, Brendan Lee. He was so obsessed with it. And for some odd reason, I just love the way they represented the crow. So I would say the fifth is the crow, which is blowing my mind as I'm thinking about it, but I definitely think that's up there with one of my favorite animals.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Um, what are your five favorite drinks?
Water is number one. I love water. It's just it's amazing. So water is definitely number one. Specifically peach Snapple. Oh, peach Snapple iced tea is one of my favorites. I also absolutely love tea, just hot, warm, like black tea, just amazing. Especially because I feel like it's a great way to get yourself calm at the end of your day. To have like a nice glass of tea is just so relaxing. So I love that. Um, Wine, specifically Pinot Noir. Pinot Noir, I'm hoping for my ASMR channel to do like a wine night kind of thing in the future, do like the sound of the popping bottle and all that kind of stuff. Um, but wine, specifically Pinot Noir, mainly because it's one of the most ancient drinks of the gods. It's something that you can have with food, and it actually changes the dynamics of the drink. So absolutely love it. And I would say that the fifth is probably milk. I know some people are into all kinds of different milks. I love just straight up whole milk, which is probably not good for me, but I've been getting into almond milk and other milks because I just love milk and cookies. Like just a chocolate chip cookie with a glass of milk is just, it could make your whole day. So I would say that milk is the other drink that I love. So nice glass of milk.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I like milk and cookies too. Absolutely. Do you like to go shopping?
It depends on what I'm shopping for. I do like shop, but I think that I've done a lot more window shopping in my day as far as when it comes to fashion, because I'm just more of a window shopper. I love dressing like t-shirts, jeans, cool like different hoodies and jackets. I'm not very dynamic with my fashion. Um, so as far as shopping, when it comes to shopping for things like equipment, oh man, you got to stop me because I literally bought 3 mics this year. Three. So don't know why anyone would need that many mics, but I do because I have a lav mic. I have my Blue Yeti for when I do live streams, and then I have my setup back here that is with my AT4040 and my H6 Zoom. So I love buying equipment. That's when I can get a little bit obsessed. Um, and I also, like I said, what I love about window shopping is also what I guess you would call cart shopping, where I like to put together my lists of everything I love. So then once that moment happens where it's like a gift or it's the holidays, I go in there and then I go crazy. But I'm definitely not one of those people. Like one of my favorite stores is Trader Joe's. Like I like to just go somewhere and grab some good food, have a good time out really quickly, and then go back home. Like when it comes to shopping, I'm just so much more simplistic. um, I think when it comes to shopping lately, I've absolutely loved looking for like local businesses to buy from, and that can be really fun. So like right now I found this company called usaproducts.com, and they have companies that do candles. So I've been looking for a company that does homemade candles because my grandma used to create candles for me. So that's kind of been my new thing, is I've been looking at local businesses and how I can buy from them online or at their locations, because you feel like you're getting something a little bit more like unique or raw or like original. So that's been my latest thing with shopping.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I just interviewed a woman from Russia who's currently living in California, and she makes homemade candles. She makes them. They're exotic. They're about 4 inches tall, but they have different shapes of bodies of women. She makes them. She has 3 different shapes. One is um a curvy woman, one is a petite woman, and one is a pregnant woman. It looks very awesome. If you love candles, I think you would like to see her page. Like it's
Please send me her page after this. I love that because that's literally been like ever since Valentine's Day. I've just been looking for big candles, or actually since Christmas, and have gotten a couple good ones. But I definitely don't want to just go to a Target. I want to get it from someone that I can support. This is what we need to do during this time, is support each other. So I love that. I love that. Please send me that recommendation.
yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I wrote it down. I got you. Absolutely. If you see hers and see the that it doesn't pertain to you, I have another woman who I've interviewed from Ohio. Um, she has candles as well, but she has over 30 different scents, and she's very diverse with it. Hers isn't molded in different shapes, but she has all types of scents. So
That's
yeah,
good. That's
absolutely. Um, that's awesome. Though. I'm glad you said nobody really talks about candles on here, and I'm glad you did. That's awesome. Um, all right, so Miss ASMR Al, what are your plans for the next 5 years, and what are your plans for the next 10 years?
wow. That's a big, big question. I think my biggest goal as a career woman is I would love to be even more involved in the area of philanthropy. It's an area that I've always been involved in with organizations and volunteering. I'm even volunteering for my neighborhood council for the next 4 years, which is going to be a big feat. But I think the next 5 years, I would love to see my channel continue to grow so I can reach and help more people, to be able to buy a home with my business. As far as like business continue to grow so I can buy a home. I have a home already, but I want to get another home. And so that's one of the main sort of dreams or goals, to be able to do that. And if I can do that through not just my business, but through ASMR, that would be just a giant blessing. But yeah, I think the next 5 years, I would just love to see growth in myself and in my craft. As far as 10 years from now, I don't really, I used to be such a planner. Like when I was 21, it was so easy to like figure out and want to plan everything in my life. And I think it's important to have small and big goals. But for 10 years, I think the only thing I would like to see is, first of all, that I'm still alive. I would love to still have life. I think I would love to see my family and friends also healthy and in good conditions. Because we're going through so much as far as health right now. So to see a future where we're not dealing with this would be beautiful. And to continue to be able to reach people through methods like this, to help. I think that whether it's through my business, which if it was around by then, we'd be at 15 plus years. So that would be phenomenal if I could reach that goal with my business and have that much sustainability. But yeah, I'm a dreamer and I have goals, but I also have found myself trying to live more in the present. So, as much as it's good to think about wanting this channel to be around for the next 5 to 10 years, and for my business to be around for the next 5 to 10 years, and my family to be perfectly and healthy and everything in 5 to 10 years, um, only God will tell. And my life is in His hands. But I hope that I can continue to reach goals that I do have long term, and in that way, whether it's getting a home, I've never really wanted to start a physical family as like a mom, but I've always thought about adoption and things like that, and even adopted my second dog this year, and probably will continue to do that to help animals. So I think for me, it's always just been a continue to continue to serve, continue to help, and continue to grow in my craft. And if that allows me to do ASMR and allows me to do that for the next decade, then that would be a blessing, honestly.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. What is your message to the future generation of women?
I think my message to the next generation of women is kind of a few different things. I think for first and foremost is to never let anyone make you a victim. You are a strong creature that was created on this planet for a reason. So I would say for women to understand that life is not fair, and it's create your own surroundings and create a beautiful life for yourself when you bring positivity and you bring good in the worst of times. And we've seen the result of that for many people. Yes, some people have lost opportunities through the pandemic and lost people, but there's also been a surge in a lot of other beautiful things, whether it's the value that we now see in connection, some businesses growing because of technology. So there's always like a kind of give or take. And I want women to know that it's okay, that we can get through the good and the bad, but you have to be able to tell yourself that it doesn't end there, that things get better, and that those difficulties are only going to help us grow. There's never going to be a life with no hardships, a life where everything is perfect and straight edge, because I thought that's what it was going to be like when I was 21. I was a planner who wanted everything planned, and when those plans didn't end up the way I wanted them to, I sometimes would turn a negative attitude towards it. And I want women to do the opposite. I want them to see those hardships as an opening to that next level and to not let themselves, as I said, be victimized by anyone, and to use that empowerment to get to their next goal and their next level, because we are extremely powerful creatures. We are very different than men in so many ways that we can use that to benefit us in our own world and surround ourselves with the way we want it to be. So I know that's a lot of loaded sort of advice, but I just think that everyone is at a different stage in their life. So just know that that stage that you're at right now is temporary. And that could even mean if you're in the happiest place of your life, don't get comfortable, don't get settled. Just continue to grow and fight for the things that you want in life and surround yourself with good people. That's always been a huge lesson for me. It's not about having 100 friends, it's about having one amazing friend that's going to be there through thick and thin. So don't let what sort of social constructs are out there determine who you need to be. Don't let that think that you have to live this perfect life, because life, like I said, is hard. But as long as you strive towards equality, women will continue to do amazing things. We've come a long way, and I think we forget that as women. We've only been able to vote for 100 years. It's not a long time. So I think that we got to continue to grow and be powerful and know that we can do amazing things. I've seen it myself through the amazing women that I've seen start from nothing and do fantastic things. So keep on going. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. What would you like to tell your future self 20 years from now?
Don't take life so seriously only because you're getting older. Find the moments to smile and to have a good time. And also to remember that YOLO, you have to continue to, live like there is no tomorrow. And I think that as myself, as I get older, sometimes it gets easy to settle, and it gets easier to just kind of be like, okay, well, this is working, but we got to continue to develop. So what I would like to tell myself is don't stop, continue, don't give up, especially because you've shown yourself, ASMR Owl, that you can do it. So why stop now? Yes, that's what I would say.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. That was a great answer. Are there any shout outs that you would like to make to your friends or to your family?
Yeah, I think a few. I would say probably my main shout out would be to my hubby Christian and to my sister Natalia, who have been like huge motivators for me in my ASMR journey. They're the ones who kind of not only have participated in videos, but have also sometimes when I'm not filming will be the ones that be like, go film, like you can do this, on the days that kind of are a little hard. So they're huge encouragement. Shout out to my parents because they are my heroes. When people ask me about my heroes, I don't really name celebrities and things like that. To be honest, my heroes are my parents. They are the ones who taught me the roots of my moral foundation, and my entrepreneurship and drive really came a lot from them. So I would say shout out to them. And shout out to the Facebook ASMR community, because there are over 14,000 people in that community, and they've really helped me not only with constructive criticism with my content, but they really are an amazing platform for people who love ASMR, who are looking to connect with us and not feel like they're alone, because ASMR is still a growing community. So if you are interested, shout out to the ASMR community on Facebook. If you're interested in joining the community, go ahead and reach out to me. But it really is one of those amazing communities that has helped me a lot. So shout out to them 100%. And to all my subscribers, which is actually should have been my first one, but shout out to my 3,100 plus subscribers. You're all amazing. You're the reason that I'm doing what I'm doing. And if it weren't for you, I don't know if I'd be as motivated every day. I really do appreciate your love, your understanding, and your constant comments and constructive criticism. So I thank so much my 3,000 plus subscribers for your support. And I hope we continue to grow the OWL community.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. What would you like people to know about you before they go to your social medias?
Um, I think that I would like people to know that I am, really just an everyday person that wants to help others, that I do things out of passion, especially with ASMR, and that that I'm also a very easy person to connect with. And I think that is really important in the ASMR community. So if you are in a position where you feel like you are a little bit helpless or hopeless and need help, please feel free to reach out towards my platform, because I think that's something that is really important to know. It's not so much about like opening up the window to my private life, but it's more about helping through what I already do to help people if they're going through some hard times. So I would really want people to know that about me, that I am very approachable and that I'm very open to helping and hearing you out if you're dealing with anything that you feel like you might need someone to lean on. And I really think that's important. I don't think a lot of people do that, but I just want people to know that, because I think this community and what we've been going through as a world this last year, the more attention to mental wellness and mindset that we put, the better we will be when we get out of all this stuff. So I would say that that's really important for people to know. I'm approachable. I want to help others, and I'm going to continue to create ASMR for you. So just know that I'm also not stopping anytime soon.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Um, do you encourage people to um start their own ASMR channel?
100%. 100%. I think that if you're someone who feels like you can reach people through your talent in any way, whether it's the way you're doing it right now, whether it's the way we do it through ASMR, the most important thing is to know that if you are going to create content on YouTube, know that people are going to be constructive and sometimes say things that you might not want to hear. So I would say just don't take those things very seriously. It's important to hear constructiveness, but don't take it personally when you're creating content. I think that's important to know if you're going to start a channel, that that you're going to be directly communicating with people. I think another thing is I 100% people think people should create their own channels if they also can be consistent. Consistency is key. If you're just doing one video every month or one video every few months, unless you're someone who maybe goes viral with the video, it's very difficult to see results if you're not consistent. And you also might let yourself down too easy. What I mean by that is that don't give up after 5 videos. Keep going, because you never know who's watching. Even if you have one subscriber, that person, you can change their whole life. So don't don't do it for the money. Don't do it for the views. Do it because you want to create great content and you want to help others, and knowing that that will come with comments, that will come with some responsibility is important, because you want to be consistent to your audience. You want to be consistent towards your fans and give them content that's recurring if you want to truly build a YouTube channel. And if you're someone who just wants to upload here and there, do that too. Just learn your craft and have fun with it, because there these platforms didn't exist when I was younger. We have an advantage to use amazing tools that are at our hands to do some amazing, amazing things. So I really encourage people to start their own channel, do some research about what kind of content you want to create. And if it's specific to ASMR, just know that there's a huge community, it's very saturated. And so you're not going to just just jump overnight. So be consistent and believe me, you will reach people and it will change their lives in so many ways. You will not even believe it, whether it's just letting them, giving them assistance to sleep at night or giving them that opportunity to feel less panicked. All those things are so much more important than the financial side. So the benefit is the reward, obviously, of your fans and the reward of the possibility of monetization. But don't go into it thinking, I want to go viral. I just want to create videos to be monetized. You're going to have a difficult road ahead of you if that's your mindset going in. So go in with passion, with direction, and with consistency.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. How do you feel women are represented in the world?
Just as a whole,
Yes, ma'am.
I think that women are becoming more and more visible in the sense of just in everything. I feel like I'm constantly surrounded by powerful women, whether it's through my own work, the ASMR community, and even things I do in my personal life. I think women are amazing beings that continue to develop and grow. I think that women are underrepresented in some areas, but I think that now versus before, we're actually recognizing those discrepancies and we're working towards either as female entrepreneurs creating our own systems and our own businesses to overcome this sort of corporate ladder glass ceiling sort of feel. But also it's allowing women to also not be afraid. And I don't, and I use that lightly because what I mean to say is that a lot of times women have grown up with very stereotypical sort of ways of doing things. So they'll say, well, yeah, back in the day, it was like women had to become moms and women, wouldn't go to work. That was back in the day. Now women are a lot more about career and also family and doing it all. So what I think is that we've come a long way, and so we need to look at those at the past, see where we've come, and just use that to continue to go to newer places and not necessarily hold ourselves back and lean in to the opportunities. And that's what I meant by scared is I think before women weren't as keen to ask and say, I want this. Or we saw what happened with things like the Me Too movement and women being held back because of very, disgusting sort of work environments. Those things are coming to light and it's letting women really show who they are, really come to a new position of power when it comes to even things like we saw with Madame Vice President now. There's a lot of beautiful things that are happening with women. So again, let's look at that and see it, look at the past and see it as a cornerstone for where we are now and just continue to reach new goals because women nowadays are starting to recognize where we're underrepresented, where we're not yet reaching higher feats and we're starting to execute. So I do think that women are powerful, we're beautiful, we still have a long way to go in so many areas. But in America specifically, I think women are showing the way and paving the way. Same with women in Europe, and now we're seeing that translate to other countries. There's countries that are becoming so progressive in having women in positions of power. So I just think that women are amazing. I mean, when it really comes down to it, in the most simplistic way, women are amazing. We are growing. We are unstoppable, but it's up to us. We need to lean into the opportunities and not be scared or victimized and just look at the past as a lesson to where we can go next.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. All right. So, Miss ASMR Al, my last question for you is, what would you do if you were the president?
Okay. Well, I've never wanted to be president before, but if I was president, I think I would want to, first of all, peace. I definitely would never want to start a war. So I would want peace in the world. And if I was president of the United States, I would really just want to help my citizens come out even stronger from what we're going through, and specifically small businesses too that contribute so much to our country. And I think the other thing is I would really want to secure the future of our younger generation, our children, and whether you're a first generation coming from immigration or you've been here for years, I feel like the younger generation is going to get a lot of the repercussions of what we do. So I would want to just secure the future of children through education and through other avenues so that they continue to dream and see the American dream that we have all seen throughout our lives. So I would really just want to do that, just really help youth and help us as a community and as a country really strive for better and bigger things as entrepreneurs and as innovators, as explorers, and just continue to build.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Well, Miss ASMR Al, I would like to tell you thank you so much for coming on my show. Is there anything that I didn't ask you, or is there anything that we didn't talk about that you would like to say?
I just want to say that for anyone who's never tried ASMR before, or listened to ASMR before specifically, autonomous sensory meridian response is something that we tingly feel inside ourselves, but not everyone gets ASMR. So if you're someone who's exploring with it, see it as an avenue to connect with people, as an avenue to maybe help with some issues you might be going through, but also see it as an avenue to explore with a whole new demographic of content, and don't go into it with some of the preconceived notions that it's sexualized or anything like that. It really is for bigger purposes. And so, if you're someone who's never explored it, I would say definitely venture into exploring with ASMR. It definitely will open up your minds to how people are connecting with others to help them through these moments.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Thank you again, Miss ASMR Al.
Thank you.